up,
All
Fez?
right.
You got a joke for us?
Yes, sir. What do you call kids born in a whorehouse?
Oh, this got very dangerous. I don't know. Go on.
Brothel sprouts. But welcome to Racing Home Podcast. You're joined by myself, Fez Bobber, and Nick Aketer.
What's up, guys? It's been a while since we've been on the podcast.
A
This is
lot has
literally
happened.
a lot has happened since the last time we spoke with Jamestown Evan McLaren uh, regarding Mid Ohio. So
Mhm.
we've gone to Road America. Fez has gone on some trips. I've returned to autocrossing. So we're gonna cover all of that in this podcast. Yeah. I don't know. My mind is slowly starting to change. We'll get to that.
Okay.
Yeah, we have been away for a hot minute, but we got a lot to touch on and
Yeah.
recap. So first up, Road America.
Let's start with Road America. So a
Yeah,
lot
dude.
has happened since Road America. So I got to kind of go back into my
That too.
memory and then figure out what actually went down. So Nick, let's start off with you. What happened in Road America, man? How did the sessions go? Were you boost coupler issues and all that? Let's go.
Oh yeah, so from the start. So Road America got over there Thursday night, drove in from Minnesota, about an 8-hour drive. And with Road America, it was the latest load in of all the Gridlife events. They wouldn't let us get into the track until about 7 p.m. I mean, you yourself didn't get there till later because of work reasons.
Mm.
But we got in 7 p.m. and then I pulled up with a brand new intercooler from Cobb Tuning. So the new intercooler has brand new inlets and outlets that are in R&D. Essentially, they wanted me to go and test it out and see how it performed compared to their previous setup that I was running. And so in the middle of the night with the mosquitoes biting my ass, I went through and got it installed. And it is so much better. So basically, I'll quickly try to describe what the inlet is. So previously, it was just a single, very kind of smooth bead. It was a joke of a bead, to be honest, but it was what it was, and because it slipped off. This new one, it is effectively like two 90-degree rigid edges, where the coupler has a really, really good biting surface to grab onto. And so I got it installed that night, and then the entire Road America event, no problems. And then drove it around Texas when I got back, no problems. And autocrossing this past weekend, no problems. So I absolutely love this, and I've given my feedback to Cobb Tuning, and hopefully they go and get it implemented into their future. But I cannot speak to that promise at all. But it's really, really good, and we'll see where that goes. But overall, fantastic to have the support of Cobb Tuning and get me an intercooler that hopefully will go and benefit other people, because that's what I really look forward to, is seeing other people benefit from this new design. No promises on when that happens, but we'll see. I'll let people know as soon as they let me know.
So no boost coupler issues this trip.
No boost coupler issues at all. I had other issues with the Focus, all
right,
cool problems, but we'll
What
get
were
to
the
that later.
other issues?
Yeah. Was there anything you want to talk about on Thursday? Because I can get into Friday next.
Thursday. So I had a little issue. So last Mid Ohio last session or second to last session, I went off at like 100 miles an hour into the carousel area over there.
There was some splitter damage that occurred.
Pretty bad splitter damage. Like splitter ripped off and ripped a bunch of things along with it. So I had to my crash bar that I was mounted to got ripped as well, along with the splitter and the splitter mounts. They were pretty mangled.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to replace that right before Road America, and I was flying in a couple days before Road America. My car was in Chicago. I had to have my sister go pick up the crash bar that I had to buy. And the race spread components, again, really appreciate the support. They like expedited the splitter and even made some changes to the splitter that I asked for, which probably won't happen in production because it doesn't look the best, but it performs better to me.
Mm-hmm.
They rounded out the edge underneath instead of the top, so for better, I guess. I don't. It's like a very small change, but I don't even think it's a noticeable change. But it, in my head, it makes me feel happy. But they did it. So yeah, so they did that, and they like expedited it. The splitter was there, so it's great. And then replace the crash bar, the splitter, and the crash bar was mounted to the oil cooler and a bunch of other things. So like I had to. It was a pain. It was honestly a pain. It took like 2 days, and I installed new fender vents on the car.
There you go.
So
Where do
we
you get those vents from?
Marisa Motorsports and King Performance are developing these fender vents for the GR86, and we that was my test event, my first ever test event with these. There's still a lot of improvement to be made. I would say I don't think they're production ready yet, and cost needs to be figured out for that too. So once we figure out, they'll be ready for production. But I think there's some design tweaks that need to happen because currently with a I'll get into that later. But actually, I'll tell you that. So ADHD. ADHD.
I have it
So
too.
um, basically, the surface area where you because it's just 3M taped right now, and it held up on the track at 130 miles an hour, so it's good. But I think it needs to have more surface area of attachment point where it like mates to um, the fender.
Right.
So I think that's something we need to work on. And then I think it should be good from there. Maybe some changes in the fin design, because I want the air to go down the car, not towards the wing, to just to um, like disturb the air in the wing.
I see.
Um,
I see.
so yeah, so that's something that I need to work on a little bit better. Um, but yeah, so installed all that. Was very, very hectic. Past like I worked basically 10 hours, 10, 12 hours on the car. Took a day off from work, and I was just beat up. Uh,
Yeah.
and then had a long work day. Towed out to Road America. Got there at like 9 p.m.
Yep.
and unloaded, and yeah, and then
Right.
finally I had an Airbnb issue, man. Fucking Jim. He's like, yeah, man, I got an Airbnb for you, and I was like, what's okay, great. Like we can, I'll stay. And then he's like, yeah, this is your red room. Like it looks like the
Oh,
fucking
your
Harry
red
Potter
room?
room.
Your bedroom.
Bedroom, sorry.
Bedroom.
Yeah, it looked like the Harry Potter bedroom, underneath the stairwell, but like just concrete walls and like a bunch of pipes. It looked like someone was murdered there, and I was like, I am not sleeping there, dude. Like, I know this is last minute, but I'm not sleeping there. You got like 10 people sleeping in there, and I got to sleep on an air mattress, if that, in like a room that's people are murdered in. Not that's not happening. Thankfully, Nick, you had another room, so last
Yep.
minute change of plans, and I ended up staying with Nick.
Yeah. Thank you to Carol for setting up us with an Airbnb that
Mm,
had like 3 rooms. Initially, we had my sister coming out to
mm,
stay with us, but something happened to where she couldn't, so
mm.
the room was all yours. So
I still got
glad
to
that
pay you,
worked
by the
out.
way.
Don't worry about it, man. I'm sure I'm
Yeah.
gonna ask you for more, dude. It's fine. You helped me out with this whole storage out in the Midwest for 3 months and moving vehicles around and meeting up with Matt, Damon Motorsports, which I will get to that one as well. That's something else I
Mhm.
need to get to. Actually, I'll get to it now if you're done.
Go ahead.
Okay, so more car setup stuff for leading up to Road America. So Matt with Damon Motorsports, he had reached out to me and asked if I was interested in running some of his mounts for the car, engine mounts, transmission mount, and rear motor mount. And I said, like, absolutely. My sloppy rubber OEM mounts, they are fucking tired. They're 86,000 miles, a lot of track events, a lot of heat abuse. They
Mhm.
were ready to get changed out. And I was having some shifting problems that in theory was coming from the transmission kind of moving around a lot.
Mhm.
Potentially a reason why I misshifted at Mid Ohio in that front straight, like shifting
Mhm.
mid quarter. Any case, they it was on the back of my mind to go and get the engine mounts and transmission mounts replaced anyways.
Mhm.
So said yes and worked a deal up where he was able to, it was awesome. He was able to ride his bike to your house to pick,
Mhm.
or your family's house, pick up
Mhm.
the car, drive the car with the bike on the roof over to his shop, get the
Mhm.
engine mount, transmission mount, everything installed, did a once over in the car, found a few bolts that needed to be tightened, and fixed a couple things that I could not see underneath the car. And then um, Kanwu and Youssef drove up from Texas, stopped in Chicago, had some deep
Mhm.
dish pizza just before stopping by the shop, picking up the
Mhm.
car, and driving my car up to Road America to where I then met up with Youssef. So
Mhm.
like that whole logistic challenge, it all worked out from my end beautifully. So thank you so much, Fez, Matt with David Motorsports, Yusuf and Kanru for doing a little detour into Chicago because that was a little bit out of the way for them. And the car with the engine mount, transmission mounts, it feels so much better. It feels very I don't know, it's like the inner 15-year-old in me, very childish to say this, but like feels very race car-y, and I love that. Like I don't know, just feeling like the car vibrating, and the transmission like shifting does feel
Mhm.
better when on track. Feels much better, so highly
Mhm.
recommend it. Um, yeah, that was the only other changes I did for the car between Mid Ohio and Road America. It was the new intercooler and the new intercooler from Cobb Tuning and the engine, transmission, and rear motor mounts from Damon Motorsports. So
Mhm.
awesome. So yeah, those are all my changes leading up to Road America. So now for Friday. So Friday, first time going out. Okay. This is my second time at like what an not an IMSA track, but like Coda was like a really big track for me to go to and actually like be on, and just kind of like the lore and just like all the years of playing the track in video games and like
Mhm.
doing it. It
Mhm.
just like it was 2 laps of like what the fuck? How am I actually here? Like how did my life actually get to this point?
Mhm.
Road America brought all of those feelings back. Like going around Road America for me, like because I played that track in so many Forza video games over the years, all of those memories came back, but they came back with like fear at the same time because of the kink. And
Mhm.
so all of the videos of and all the stories of people saying that the curbing and the kink at Road America is very aggressive is something to like respect.
Mhm.
So the first practice session, I didn't touch any curbing for the first half. I was just
Mhm.
like making sure to go around the track and just kind of like working my speed up, getting the braking point figured out, and then slowly after like 5 laps, I was like, all right, let me start creeping onto the curbing and feeling them out and seeing which ones really are like too aggressive to attack on,
Mhm.
and which ones are safe to go and kind of put your car up. Some curbs were pretty bad outside of turn 5. Totally fucked my lineup when I hit it on Saturday,
Mhm.
but the kink. Okay, so back to the kink. This was really weird. So the kink in my car, you go around the carousel. So fourth gear carousel. I don't know what speed exactly, but you leave the carousel and then coming to the kink, I'm upshifting into fifth gear and then taking the right turn. So it's a very high speed corner.
Mhm. Mhm.
I think what 110, 120. How fast were you hitting it?
118.
118. Okay, so 118 with your car. I must have been in the neighborhood around there. I'm deep in fifth, not deep in fifth, but I'm in fifth gear, and then the entire valley going up to Canada Corner is all fifth gear, and
Mhm.
so there's a lot of walls. So like between the track and the wall, there's only one car's width worth of grass. So
Mhm.
like if you mess up the kink,
Just going into the wall. There's
you're
no
going into the
question
wall.
about it.
There's like little to no safety. I don't know.
Yeah.
This was
And a lot of people
yours.
did. A lot of people did go
Yeah,
into
yeah.
the wall.
This is your second time at the track, right?
Yeah,
First.
so I went to Road America in 2019. This was when my car was, I had an FRS back then. It was on 93 tunes, making like 180 some horsepower, on Federal RSRs that were pretty much dead. And I was just like learning the track, learning. I was a novice, I would say at that point too.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't count it because back then, like I thought the track was fine. It was pretty safe because I was like very narrow visioned. And
Mm-hmm.
then like coming to the track again 6 years later with a bunch of experience behind me, and I started like looking around, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Holy shit! There's so many walls, and so much can go wrong here." You know, like, and I'm going much faster. Like back then, my top speed was like a 115 miles an hour, I think,
Yeah.
114.
Okay.
Now
Okay.
with this car, it was 129, 128 miles an hour, right? So
Jeez.
like, it's a significant difference, and
Yeah.
and I'm going like almost flat out through the cake at this point.
Yep.
Um,
Oh, I,
so.
I have to lift. I have to lift just a brush of the brakes to
Mhm.
put weight on the front wheels just to make sure that when I turn in, I'm not understeering.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so
anyway.
at this track, Friday, I think I wanna touch on a little bit more on how many fucking incidents that happened and how many different, people just wrecked, had car issues, the flagging issues, the the the
Yep.
the trucks on track, the safety trucks on track, and then, so, okay, I don't blame Gridlife for this. It's
No.
the people are the idiots here in the situation. But they're they were using FIA flags. They weren't using normal red light flags, right?
Mm-hmm.
So basically, when an accident happens, we wave yellows and people slow down.
Yep.
right? In this scenario, we had a yellow before the incident and green after the incident,
Yep.
which not many people are used to. I almost fucking wrecked on Friday because of it.
Yeah.
So as you would like, I think that's something that the grid life maybe should have shared. It's like, hey, if you see a green, fucking go. Like it's a green. But like, and or how it would be treated, I guess, a little bit differently. So again, lots of incidents. Yellow waved, and then the first time they had a green waving right after the incident, and I was like,
Yep.
oh, what the fuck's going on? Okay, I'm just gonna. And then second time, same lap, and I was like, they were like, all right, keep going. I'm just like, it's green. I'm gonna keep going. A Civic crashed the kink with a big dust cloud, and they're waving green. And I'm like, all right, I guess I'm just gonna keep flying.
Keep going. It's
And
green.
and on top of that, they messed up the grid order. So it
Yep.
was supposed to be usually for festival events, you go with your class. You don't go with like where you're timed at. So you go
Hold
with
on. So this is now Saturday because Q1 Friday afternoon that was with our respective classes. So you're now talking about Q2 where it was just like normal
no no
time
no.
attack sessions?
We had Q1 on Friday.
Right. Okay, so
Yeah,
you're okay.
I'm still talking about Friday.
Okay.
Yeah. So in that, like, first of all, practice was I was somehow in the back and just kind of weaving through. Couldn't get a good lap time. And then practice comes and qualifying comes.
Yes.
And the bunch of incidents. There's a Civic in front of me, and I'm there waving green, and I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna keep going. No, this is practice. This is practice, and then
This
I don't
was from
remember. I don't remember. But anyways, one of these sessions where
a lot
I
happens in one day.
I am they're waving green, so I keep going, but the cars in front of me are fucking confused apparently, and they're like on the line going slow.
Yep.
I go for my brakes, and I'm like so hauling ass, and they're just like part
Mhm.
at 130 miles an hour. I hit the brakes, and I'm trying to avoid two cars. Literally swerve and then turn back to the left and then turn back to the right as I'm braking and trying to go around these cars. Like, I almost rear-ended two cars at that point.
Yeah.
It
Which
was very, very scary. I shared a video of it on Instagram, but yeah, it was not like that's not how. If it's green, go. Like it's that does not matter if it's a wreck on the track. It's behind you. The rest of the 4 miles is still green.
right.
Is what
Right.
I kind of learned, and I think that should have been shared in the drivers' meeting or something.
Yeah,
Um,
I think that should have been more common knowledge. Because there was another incident of similar fashion on Saturday that
mhm,
I'll get into later.
yeah,
It is definitely something that was different, and it's
mhm.
not necessarily it's not wrong. It is just not
It
everybody
was different.
knew how it was different, so nobody knew how to like treat it. Because
My
I think a
thinking is
lot of
that
people kind of went into hold on, a lot of people kind of went into it. I think they saw the yellow and they thought like the entire lap would be yellow. Like there was no point
mhm,
on pushing. And so, no, I don't know. I guess people saw the green flag after the incident and didn't think to continue pushing or that you could go
mhm,
10-10s. But even then, if in my opinion, like if you're going slow, like be offline.
mhm.
And I think those cars were not offline. They're just kind of like putting around. So there's that. What are you gonna say?
I think it's just colors, right? You should know your flag colors and what they mean, even if the situation is different
Yes.
than what you normally have. Green means go.
Yes.
Uh,
And if you're not
and
going on a green, then be offline or be
yes,
predictable.
yes, yes. I think the S2K that was in front of me, I know the person. I went and apologized to him because I kind of dive bombed him in a way, and
Yeah.
he was not expecting me to be there either. And I don't really. He told me that it wasn't him that was kind of doing this. It was the car in front that slowed him down. So
Yeah, I get it. There
uh,
was two cars. Yeah.
yeah, it was. I don't know what happened, but regardless, like that could have been ended. That could have ended really, really bad. Like I'm glad I had track insurance. Um,
Yeah, hopefully everybody had track insurance there. I definitely
yeah,
did.
yeah. And that was my Friday in terms of tracking.
Yep.
Friday night.
Oh, so hold on, real quick. Stepping back to Q1, what I want to talk on.
Yeah, go ahead.
So with the whole gridding, oops, I moved my mic. They did they were, they were very slow on releasing the grid update for Q1. Because I remember you and we were talking like 10 minutes.
Strategizing.
Yes, strategizing. 10 minutes before going Q1 started
Hmm.
for what would have been Sunday Cup or Group D. you and
Mhm.
I saw that we were right next to each other at the very bottom of Group B. So you and I
Mhm.
were strategizing, trying to determine, okay, so we're at the back. We're gonna halt. We're gonna be really, really far back and like let the rest of the field pull away. So then
Mhm.
that way you and I could strategize to where I would give you a toe on the front straight.
Mhm.
That way it would give you your best chance of getting into the podium sprint.
Uh-huh.
And I remember thinking that like, okay, we got the strategy. I'm gonna give you a toe. And what I normally do, like before most sessions, I go and like relieve myself and make sure I'm good to go. And so I'm literally sitting on the can. I look at my phone and do a refresh on the grid. And like, wait, what the fuck? I'm not in group. Wait, Fez is on track.
Yeah.
Like, it
Yeah.
was so quick. And like, I saw that update, and Group D was already called to grid.
Uh-huh.
So that was a bit of a mess. There were like 4 or 5 Club TR cars that
Mhm.
missed that update, and so they showed
Mhm.
up to the next. Like Kunwu was unfortunately one of them.
Mhm.
Him and 3 or 4 others showed up, and they're like, "What the fuck? We're here. You're telling me that I missed my session already?" Fortunately, they were able to go out in my session at the back of the group, so
Mhm.
still got their times in. But yeah, a little mishap, and I guess I don't know. They
But
Saturday for
but
Q2 and Q3, they just ran normal time attack,
mhm.
grade up by fastest time, not by class.
Yeah.
So
So a little background on that, right? So same thing, like you're on the can. I'm just talking to Kevin. He's hanging out with me, and I'm like, we're just having a conversation. And then Ian, Flavin, and this Cups here, and he's like, "Hey, we're on track." And I was like, "No, we're not. Look at this." And he's like, "No, look at this." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And then he's like, "Yeah, Club TR." And he's like, "Yeah, it's podium sprint weekend. Like you, Club TR goes all together. It's not separated." And I was like, "Oh shit, you're right." I get in the car immediately, pull up to the grid, and they're like, they don't even have the grid order in the front, right?
hmm
So I'm like, where do I go? And they're going on track to just go, and I was like, okay. So I'm behind Sunday Cup, and I'm basically doing wheel to wheel. I really appreciate a lot of these people because they're like, I think they understand that I like the car is much faster, so they just kind of move out of the way, and
hmm
in the outlet, they just like let me go. But obviously, there's at the certain points you just kind of have to hold back and just
Right. Right.
and
hmm
then go. Um, and that's where my incident happened. I happened behind like two of the slower cars. And yeah, like I think it's just I talked to Emma that night. I was like, Emma, like what was going on? And Emma was like, yeah, like I was dealing with a lot of like incident issues from GLTC, Rush, and whatnot. So I
Yeah.
wasn't ready, and they were like, uh, they wanted to be very, very on time because they were in a very rigid schedule
Yeah.
for everything that's
They
going
need to
on,
go cold at a very specific time. It's my
and
understanding.
they packed in too much, right? So she was like, "Hey, we need to release cars to the grid," and she's like, "What do you mean? The grid's not ready?" And then she was like, "All right, whatever. Like, let's just go out there because
hmm
she couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
Literally, she couldn't do
There's
it."
yeah. I fully understand, and they.
So
I
yeah,
guess like from the outside looking in, it feels like Emma needs another person to help her out with setting the grid. I don't know
hmm
how the internal structures work. Um,
hmm
I personally think like the on track action going on, like I think was fine for what they had set up for the day. They just needed
hmm
at least one more person to assist with setting up the grid. So that way,
hmm
like there's one person that is like focused on doing timing or whatever for
hmm
the group that is just not coming off. There's a completely
hmm
separate person that is ready to go with the next grid order.
yeah,
And to my understanding right now that it's just one person doing all of that, and that is
hmm
yeah, that's just one
thank
person.
you very much.
So hopefully one
So
more person for assistance, and like that wouldn't be an issue.
yeah, and then another thing was that I think for she mentioned that big tracks versus small tracks.
Yeah,
Both really big tracks and really small tracks have the same issue. People catch up to the person behind them, right, really fast. So that's why they changed it to the normal qualifying, normal eh,
I see.
stuff, right?
Yeah.
Normal grid order rather than going together.
hmm
Because like Club TR is way faster. Top of Club TR is way faster than bottom of Sunday Cup, let's say.
Yeah.
So we would have caught them in 1 lap or 2 laps.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
So same thing with short tracks. So I think from here on out, they might not do that for Road America or Lamrock, things like that.
Yeah. All right. Do you want to keep going with the Friday, or do you want to stick to on track
I
stuff?
wanna stick to on track stuff, and then we can go to the party
Yeah,
stuff
yeah, yeah, yeah.
after.
Okay, that
Also,
sounds
I don't think I'll have time to discuss my trip stuff. I gotta get going,
okay. That's fine. We could do
unfortunately.
your trip stuff later. We'll
Yeah,
stick to
we can
just
do that
Road
later.
America stuff. Okay, so then
Yeah.
Saturday. So Saturday morning,
Mhm.
Q1, Q2 at this point.
Me too.
Yeah, Saturday morning,
Mhm.
Q2. I go out there and immediately on the first push slap,
Mhm.
unfortunately, there was a car at right at the apex of Canada Corner. So
No, it was after Canada Corner.
is Canada
Canada
Corner?
Corner,
Is Canada Corner the right hander or the left hander?
it's the right-hander.
So you're
I
right.
did not know this
Okay,
until
I thought
after
Canada
as well.
Corner was the left hander.
I thought the same thing.
Okay, so the corner after Canada Corner. So the left hander, for people still listening,
Going
going to the kink, going through the valley, you make the sharp right, and now you're making the left. So there is a car sitting at the apex, unable to move on that left hander. So the safety crew
I wanna
comes out.
backtrack a little bit on this.
Okay.
So, not only just that, in front of me, there was, I think, a Corvette or another car that was smoking, so he immediately was, like, pulling off.
Yep.
Like, and that was happening, and then right after this Viper that was parked
Mm-hmm.
on the apex of this corner that you're talking about.
Yes.
And then what happened?
So then they have the yellow flags. They get the safety crew
Mhm,
out, but immediately after the safety crew is a green flag. So the same
mhm,
situation that we were having on Friday, they're still going on, which not an issue, but it is not. It's different. So some people were going slow, and some people were effectively apexing the safety crew, which I thought was incredibly dangerous. Incredibly,
mhm,
because the gap between the safety crew and then the outside of the curb was what, a car and a half, maybe two cars worth. But some people saw it as, okay, this is the morning session Saturday. I want to get into
mhm,
the podium sprint, maybe, is their thinking. And so they are
mhm,
giving it all to make sure that they get in because Q3 is going to be worse conditions. It's going to be a hotter track, hotter surfaces. So they were full on sending it in Q1 around the safety crew, which I thought was very dangerous, but
mhm.
hope nothing
Makes
happened.
sense.
I just need to say that nothing happened. No one hit the safety crew. There were no actual incidents. And initially, I had the I was kind of frustrated with that. They were having a green flag after and letting people like continue going around for the whole track. Uh,
Mhm,
because I know my car is limited to just one track or one lap because I have my coolant problems.
mhm,
So I come into the pits and I told the staff like, "Hey, I'm gonna sit here and please let me know when the safety crew is out of the way. And once they're out of the way, then I'm gonna go back on track because my car will
mhm,
overheat even if I'm doing like 710s. I'm not gonna
mhm,
have the coolant capacity to do an actual flyer to potentially
mm,
get into the podium sprint." So I
mhm,
stayed there. There were five other cars, and then they safety crew gets off, and we get going. I was able to do
mhm,
my flyer. I did a 2:30.046, which is incredibly good, but at the same time incredibly frustrating for me because I really wanted to go sub 30 at Road America, and I was
mhm.
less than half a second from that goal.
Yeah,
Not even no, less than
a
a
10th.
tenth of a second from that goal.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ. So, anyways,
yeah.
I need to avenge myself later on. Um, but going
Yeah,
back,
so same thing
so okay,
at
your
that. Okay.
perspective.
My perspective of that, I think I was fine the way they write it. I understand there's a safety risk to it because there's a lot of idiots on track. They're
Hmm.
not. It's an FIA track, so like not everyone that's driving on there is FIA qualified.
Yeah. So I will.
So I understand
Yeah.
that part.
I.
But to me, go
Let
ahead.
me just say real quick. I agree with you. I think everything you're about to say, I do agree with you now. Initially, I was frustrated, but now looking back on it, I agree with what you had told me at the day of event. So just want to say that. Go on.
Let me tell the people, and then you can say that. Gosh.
I spoiled it.
And then basically what I was gonna say that Nick was like, "Can't wait to fucking respond to,"
Hmm.
um, is that, yes, that corner was fucked up, but people like me that haven't been to the track in a very long time, and to me, basically, I was there for the first time in a way, right?
Hmm.
I got to learn the track still.
Yeah.
I got to fiddle around with it and, like, check my lines out. I still get to put 10 tenths the rest of the track,
Yes.
or
Yeah.
or 9 tenths the rest of the track. So by the time the safety tuck was gone, I was like, yes, my tires were a little bit overheated, but like I put down a fucking flyer.
Yep.
I I did a 232 flat, and I held the rear wheel drive record for one session or two sessions. I can't remember.
Hey,
I was
congrats.
really happy about it, And then Pete came back out and laid his schlong out, and then he took it back. Um, so yeah, and that like showed that there is room for me to improve, and I'm still learning the track quite a bit. And I think turn one is where I was fucking up quite a bit. I was slowing down quite a bit for it in general. But yeah, so it helped me still quite, and I think it's a better way to do it. And we just got to make sure people that are out there are not apexing safety tracks.
Yeah, like looking back on it now, there are two options. Either option one is what they did. You have the safety crew for
Hmm.
one corner, you slow down, respect where they're at, give them room, and you
Hmm.
go around. And then you have the rest of the track to go full 10 tenths and learn and improve on. The
Hmm.
second option is everyone is tooling around behind the pace car, or even worse, just sitting in the pit lane with their brake
Hmm.
rotors potentially cracking because pit lane is on a hill and you have to be on your brakes in order not to roll away, unfortunately, of that
Hmm.
track. So in hindsight, is I actually thought about this on the drive back home. Like I do prefer this setup where the safety crew is out there and then you can go 10 tenths
Hmm.
after, not around them, but after. That way you can learn the track. And if you don't like that, then pull into the pits and wait, which is what I did.
Hmm.
And so like what that taught me is it's not the safety crew, it's not Gridlife's fault that I couldn't go out there while safety crew was there. It is on me for having a car can't do
Hmm.
a whole fly without overheating the coolant system. So like that is
Hmm.
just like even more drive for me to get my car right because you're right. If I had a car that could go 10 tenths no matter what the temperature conditions were, then I
Hmm.
respect the safety crew and I go around them and I have the rest of the track to go and enjoy, which is
Yeah.
what we paid for. We didn't pay to sit behind pace cars. We paid to
Hmm.
go around the track as quickly as we can and
Hmm.
respect when safety crew is out there. So yeah,
Yeah.
in hindsight, I like it. I just think Grid Live needs to go and stress that style of safety
Hmm.
behavior to the rest of the drivers, so the other drivers also respect the safety crew more.
Great. Yeah, I think uh, even with all those issues, we still made it into podium sprint,
Oh yeah, so with
boy.
that 30.0, that got me into fourth place for podium sprint. Initially, up to Q3 was third place, but
Mhm.
then Sam Bosnian with the 350Z laid down a hell of a lap, and he did a 29.9 something,
Mhm.
which bumped me into fourth place. So you and I, we
Mhm.
were both into the podium sprint with that Q2 result.
Yes, I was in third. You were in fourth.
hmm Well, I was in third at
Um,
the end of Q2, but then Sam beat my time in Q3. I could not
yeah,
improve on my time in Q3.
yeah. Neither could I. I think I did 2:32.5 in Q3.
Yeah,
But
I,
yeah, I think my car can do 2:31s there. I just gotta be better.
yeah, I could do
Um,
29s 100%. Likewise, I just need to be better.
yeah, I think overall my gearing kind of screwed me because I was looking at data back again, and then once I hit six, which I'm hitting quite often, in every straightaway I'm hitting sixth, right?
As well.
Uh,
Hmm.
let's so like after the kink, I'm hitting a kink around 118 miles an hour. I think my shift point to six is like 120 something,
Mm-hmm.
low 120s. And I gain 4 miles an hour in half a mile by going into sixth. My car just stops accelerating once I hit sixth.
Yeah. So you
So
need
I
a different rear drive.
I need to go back to my 4.1, which I had 4.1 final drive, or I need to go up to 4.56 and go a shorter sixth gear, which is more expensive and whatnot, and
Yeah.
faster but more expensive and
Yeah.
more labor intensive. So that's something I'm kind of thinking about for next year. Just messing around with final drives. But yeah, like for reference, podium sprint. I'm just gonna spoil it. I got fourth.
We
Unfortunately.
won fourth.
We won fourth, okay? We got fourth. We won it. We earned it. I had the third fastest time of the weekend, but in podium sprint, that's what matters.
Yep.
I think Stan beat me by a few tenths.
Yep.
So props to him. He had a good battle throughout the entire weekend. So um, really good job. And props to Peter for beating James Houghton.
Yeah.
So those who don't know, James Houghton had a pretty big fat incident the qualifying before, where he got his 229. He posted a video about it on his Instagram. Going to the kink, his rear got very light, and he basically fishtailed the entire kink, or the entire after the kink, right?
Yeah.
So he was like very, very close to the wall on both sides, just left and right. And then he like pulled into the pits for uh, probably to check his underwear and also check the car. Um, and yeah, I think he said he went back out again, and that's when he got his 229. But for podium sprint, I was after discussing with him, we can have him on again if he wants to. But he said that he basically did not want to ball up someone else's car, so he
Because he is in
took
that J Zilla
yeah.
9th gen Honda Civic SI or 10th.
He's in AJ's
Yeah,
Zebular, his 8th gen Civic,
8th gen. But it has like the
yeah,
Canadian
or
front end.
CSX. So it's actually an Acura CSX from Canada,
Right.
but it's really a Civic. Anyways, so yeah, he's in that car and he's like, I don't want to crash someone else's car, so he took it back a notch for a podium sprint, and he thought he was in the clear by going 231s, and then somehow Peter pulled it out of his ass again, and he went faster,
Yeah.
and he underestimated basically, and Peter got first place. You know, like
Dude,
props to him.
props to
I
Peter.
was
That was his first P1.
first P1, and nobody's expecting it. Like everyone was shocked, but at the same time, like holy shit, Peter, good fucking job.
Yeah.
Like,
Fucking great job, Peter.
and then I got fourth. I was kind of bummed because I've had a chance to get third at least. But I think I was just happy because the car is, with all the issues that I've had to deal with this year,
Yep.
with the suspension setup and all that, being like 2 seconds to 3 seconds off pace than my last year time. We're moving in the right direction. However, I spoke with Chris at our nurture lab. I think we're going to revalve my front coilovers.
Good. That'll be really good.
So I think it'll help the car quite a
Yeah.
bit.
Let me just recap real quick on
Um,
my podium sprint experience.
Go ahead.
So how do I put this? So Dewey with Boogeyman in Street Mod. He kind of covered the podium sprint very, very well for what went down between Street Mod and Track Mod with Kyle, who was
Mhm.
running in 2 different classes with his Supra.
Mhm.
So that aside, didn't really affect the street class people like in my session. So we had Luca up in the front, and then Sam
Mhm.
Bosnian. No, I'm sorry, Brad Moore in second, Sam Bosnian third, me in fourth, Charles Miller behind me in fifth. So
Mhm.
Kyle in the Supra goes out, and then Luca goes out, and I kind of sit there and watch. And in my head, I'm like, "What the fuck am I doing here? I can't believe I'm actually like here in the podium sprint."
Mhm.
Nonetheless, and yeah, the pressure kind of got to me. The pressure got to me, and the pressure got to the car. I'll get to the car in just a second. But the pressure got to me in the sense that, like, literally, I was going around. I did turn 1, turn 2, not 2, turn 3, just fine. And then going down to turn 5, I was in my mind. I was like, "What the fuck am I actually like doing here? Like, I'm here. Everyone's watching me. Holy shit! Everyone's watching me. Don't fuck up. Don't fuck up." And what I do, I fuck up. So turn 5, I overbraked because I was trying to be careful in the sense. I was like trying to make sure I braked at a proper braking point that I knew the car can make it. But I
Mhm.
slowed down so much that then I was like, in my mind, I was like, oh shit, I need to go and recover from slowing down too much. So then I cut the corner very, very aggressively, and that completely upset the balance of the car. So when in over the curbing on the inside of the turn, which then caused my car to start bouncing. And it's had this you can actually see it in my fastest lap from Q2,
Mhm.
where the car got unsettled, was bouncing, and that bouncing caused the car to kind of bounce across the track and hit the
Mhm.
rumble strips on the outside. I thought
Mhm.
I broke a wheel. I legitimately thought I broke a wheel because how aggressive those alligator rumble strips are.
Mhm.
But I was like, I'm in the podium sprint. It's my first lap. I need to like kind of keep it going. And also in my mind, I was like, I don't know if I still have a tire on the inside of the line. Uh, Apparently I did, but like that was also my mind. I was like, I really hope I didn't just DNF on this lap because of that turn 5 incident
Mhm.
of going what I thought was too wide. So
Mhm.
I continue on, get around the carousel, get around the king, get around Canada Corner, and then
Mhm.
the coolant problem. So my coolant temps at the beginning of the lap were 180 degrees. At the end of the
Mhm.
lap, they're hitting 230. And as soon as they start hitting 230 degrees Fahrenheit, I start pulling timing and start pulling boost. So by the time I was
Mhm.
crossing the timing line, I was down 10 miles per hour compared
Like,
to my previous compared to normally when I'm crossing at 180 and at 180 degree temperatures.
mhm.
So normally I should be crossing the line at 125, 127. On my
Mhm.
putting sprint, I was crossing the line at 115, down 10 miles per hour. And it just stopped accelerating. Like I didn't even get into fifth gear because I
Crossing the line or at the end of the
at
straightaway?
the end of the straightaway, I did not even get into fifth gear because the car was pulling so much boost and timing that it stopped accelerating in fourth.
Hmm.
That sucked.
That's wild. That sucks a
Yeah,
lot.
so I really, really need to go and do proper cooling mods and ducting this off season.
Mhm.
It's really ducting. If I can get the coolant temps to drop just even 5 degrees, like just stay away from 230, then the car is fine.
Mhm.
It'll
Mhm.
have peak power, but as soon as it hits 230, I'm in trouble. So
Hmm.
I'm gonna work on it. My goal is to be able to track Coda in the summertime, 2025. If I can do Coda in the Texas heat, then I should be able to
Mhm.
track anywhere.
Yeah,
We'll
for
see.
sure.
So yeah, that was my
Hey,
podium
man,
sprint experience.
congrats on your first podium sprint, and
Thanks.
congrats on winning 4th.
I keep joking on
Uh,
winning fourth. Yeah, overall, just a fantastic track event, and I'm glad I got on the podium sprint. Not only for just like having that kind of a personal life achievement, but then also we got to pack up and go party Saturday night. We didn't have to. I
mhm.
didn't have to do the last dash on Sunday.
Yep. I was really excited about that. I
Yeah,
didn't really care about winning. I was more excited that I don't have to drive on
yeah.
Sunday. I'm so tired.
Well, like for Caroline,
Uh,
we packed it up, partied it up, and then Sunday morning, 6 a.m., hit the road, and we're
yeah,
back in Dallas at 10 p.m. So my mother
yeah.
and our family friend, they flew back to Dallas. So they spent all of Sunday kind of exploring Milwaukee, while
Uh,
Carol and I were on the road. We beat them back to Dallas. It's
nice.
how early we left.
Nice.
And party stuff real quick. So
Yeah, so
who did you sing with on Friday, Fez? Who did we both sing with?
Friday, T-Pain was hosting karaoke, and, so I signed us up for a karaoke song,
Without
um,
telling me.
and without telling I told
You
them,
did ask me. You asked me.
"Listen,"
Oh, I know.
I was like, "Hey, I'm
No, you did
signing
not
us
say
up."
that. You said, Nick, do you want to go in karaoke? And I said no. I
Listen, I really wanted to do it, and I just
didn't
put 3 people
realize
on
how
there.
badly you want to do it that you would sign me up without telling me until
I si Listen, this is what went through my mind, right? I signed up 3 people for karaoke, including myself. And I was like, someone would wanna go with me, right? That's basically how I was thinking. And then I basically forced you to go, and I asked Jim was my other backup, but thankfully Ito was there, and his friend was there.
yep. His
Um,
friend's name is also
and
Nick.
oh, Nick, sorry, Nick Ellis, Nick.
Oh, Nick.
Um, so he was there, and then yeah, I kind of just forced all the fuckers to go onto the stage with me, and so I kind of regret wearing the banana suit on stage,
Why? It's
but
like
I don't.
blasted all over social media for Gridlife. Like every
I wish
other
I wa-
karaoke post that has you in it.
I wanted to wear my banana Hawaiian shirt, but I forgot that at the Airbnb. So I was like this, and there's like a very wrinkly banana suit that I had just sitting in the back of my truck as like an emergency. Apparently, I keep it there. So I put
There's a
that on.
spare tire. There's a spare tire jack. There's maybe a fire extinguisher, a first aid kit, and then there's a banana suit. This is the emergency
Mhm.
stash inside Fez's truck.
That is exactly it. So I put that on, and I get on stage, and T Pain like looks at me and he's like, "What the fuck is going on?" He just like puts his
And
hands up, looks at me like,
and
"What is?"
Hurt from
And I'm
Hoonigan was also there, and he was equally like,
hurt.
What's going on over here?"
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, to be fair, now they will remember me forever because they were
Yeah.
like they're the banana guy the at the concert. So we sang "Get Low." And when I signed us up, I was really wanted to do a T-Pain song. I wanted to do the bartender because that's a song that I really, really like, and I
Yeah.
know all the lyrics. But I was suggested against it because they were like, "It's a T-Pain song, and T-Pain's hosting karaoke, so you shouldn't do that." And I was like, okay. So the backup idea was "Get Low" by Lil Jon. I thought it would be kind of appropriate for the vibes that we were in, Too Fast, Too Furious, or
Hmm.
our Fast and Furious vibes, Need for Speed vibes. Um, so did that, and then as I did that, I forgot that the song has more lyrics than "To the Window, to the Wall."
Yeah.
I get on stage and I'm like fucking panicking, and I was like, "Wait a second, I don't know the entire lyrics. I just know the to the window to the wall." And then, luckily, Ito's buddy who was there with us, he knew the entire song and he carried the team.
Victor was also
And then
there. So Victor is a local friend
Victor,
from Austin. So he was also
uh,
down to karaoke with us and T-Pain and
mhm,
Hurt. And yeah,
yeah,
we had so there were only 4 microphones up there. We had 5 people to go up. So Victor has
yeah,
his own mic, Fez his own mic, Nick has his own mic, and then Ito and I each share our own mic. Ito and
yeah.
we were definitely the most timid of going up there. I did not want to do this. I was still like angry at you for signing me up and getting me in the situation. And so
Hey man, was it worth it? Did you
it
have
was worth
fun?
it. It was a lot of fun.
Okay, there you go. Fuck off then.
We had to talk to Ito quite a bit to like keep him on stage. Like he was, and I
Yeah.
felt like at any second he was about to just dip out. I was like, nope, I'm not doing this.
Uh,
But once Ito is actually on stage in front of a crowd, he kills it. He is fucking
yeah,
amazing. I should have held the
yeah.
microphone like closer to him so you could actually like hear him singing.
Uh,
Also, I do want to say, so so the first act was on there, and so we were contemplating like, all right, we're gonna sing "Get Low," like to the window, to the wall. All right, so we all agreed on what direction we're gonna point for the window and what direction we're gonna point for the wall. The
and we
first
fucked up.
no. The first one we actually did just fine. The second time,
Mhm.
which is unfortunately the one that most people got a recording that I've seen on social media, they recorded all of us going in the corrected direction, and Fez over here goes in the opposite direction of what we had all agreed on. I
I
didn't.
was
I
panicking.
didn't it was just, yeah. I didn't know.
Even Taker was like, "Which direction is it? Where's the wall? Where's the window?"
I didn't know that you had fucked up until later when I
Uh,
watched the reels and watched like Carol's video. I was like, oh shit.
yeah, I did fuck up. I did fuck up. But it was a really good time. I had a lot of fun,
Yeah,
and it took a lot of nerves for all of us to get out there. I'm
agreed.
surprised I wasn't that scared. I was scared because I didn't know the song, but I wasn't scared to be up there. Um, but yeah, I wish I sang a different song that I knew better.
I halfway through I was thinking like, oh man, I really hope there's not an N word in this song. But
I don't think there was.
no, there wasn't.
Uh,
But like uh
Also, the lyrics that they were playing
it's
on the
clean. It's a
little
clean,
TV, it was a clean version. So I was
yeah.
like, "Ah, hell no, we're not doing the clean version." Um, but yeah, it was a good time. It was a good
I
time.
had
Had a
way
lot of
more
fun.
fun, not only doing that, but also like watching everyone else go up there and do karaoke. There's
Uh,
some pretty big names that did karaoke that I
yeah.
didn't expect. TJ Hunt, Chris Forsberg, a bunch of
Mhm,
Gridlife staff,
mhm,
Creature from Gridlife. Like, dude, I
mhm.
loved when Creature was out there. They all fucking killed it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it
So
way
fun.
more than Dead Mouse.
Me too. I Dead Mouse is just not my vibe,
Mm-mm.
honestly. We were just hanging out in the
I
back
left early.
most
I
of the
left
time.
halfway through. For
Yeah, you did. So fun fact, was on this trip for work. We first part of the trip was just gonna tell you guys a little bit of it. GR Corolla was revealed in California, right? So I was
2025.
there for that. The
20
2025 GR Corolla,
It was really
and my
awesome.
Hakone
Yeah.
edition, GR86. So I
Yeah.
was there for that, and there's a bunch of famous people that were there that we Toyota brought out. Like Ryan Turk was there, Frederick Osbo was there. Ken Gucci was there, and a bunch of other people that like are influencers that were there to kind of hype up the product.
Yep.
Um, and um, yeah, so I met one person. She was a stunt driver for Toyota for a little bit. Like I think she did one of the ads or whatnot. And then she was also apparently at Road America.
Mhm. Oh, I
And
didn't
I was
know
like,
this.
"Oh, yeah." She was at Road America. She's like, "Yeah, I was with the Falcon booth. I was giving people rides in my 350Z out there." And I was like, "Oh, sweet. That's great." And then she was like, and then someone mentioned Banana Man. And it's like, "Yeah, did you know he's a banana man at Road America?" And I was like, and she's like, "Wait, you're the banana that was doing karaoke?" I was like, "Oh my god, dude." She
Full circle.
recognized me from being a banana at Road America like a few days after in California. Um, but yeah. So it was it was funny that like the Banana Man is going national, not international, just national.
National for now. Well, international. I mean, there were some JDM people there that may have taken it back to Japan.
Like, oh, but I should not do that accent. Never mind, it's racist as fuck. Uh,
We need to get Gridlife
stop
Karaoke over to
myself.
Tsukuba. That is literally
Yeah,
a
Cuba.
dream. If we could do Gridlife at
Dude,
Tsukuba.
Japanese karaoke?
Japanese
Fuck
karaoke
yeah.
at Tsukuba. Oh my
Fuck yeah.
god.
So yeah, it was that was like the highlight of my weekend. I was like, oh shit, people recognize me as Banana Man. And at that, I'll tell you later. This is the trip that
The Trip podcast.
the trip podcast. A lot happened on the trip, so TBD.
Yeah, we'll get to that one. We'll probably record later this week and then release it next week.
Yeah,
We gotta
yeah.
space out these recordings. Oh,
But overall, go ahead.
no, you go. I'll wrap it up with what I was gonna say.
Oh, overall, great event. Lots of incidents, unfortunately, in GLTC as well, and Rush and Time Attack. But I think Gridlife did the best they could, and
Yeah,
we did very well. So
that, and I also want to give a shout out to our GLTC friends. So our local
yes.
GLTCer, we have multiple, but like the one that I'm closest to, Matt Beck,
Mhm.
he finally got his 240 up and running, test and tune in Austin at Coda, and was able to get his now VQ swapped 240 over to Road America, and actually was able to go and do a full GLTC event. So
Mhm.
I think race 1 and race 2, he has more details on it in his podcast with Morgan from Smoking Motorsports. They just got that going. It's called Flat Out Podcast. Literally just
Shout out
did,
to them.
yeah, shout out to them. Apparently they shout
Like
out
copying
us.
our formula.
Apparently, yeah. Apparently they gave us a shout out in episode 2. They have not released it yet as of recording this one. But I'll be very curious to see what they say about us in that recording. I'm assuming they talk about Road America. Matt messaged me separately about it. In any case, it's awesome to see Matt put in blood, sweat, maybe some tears. Never saw him cry, but I'm assuming there might have been a tear or two late at night. A lot of beer to help out with that. To get his 240 up to Road America and actually compete in GLTC. No easy
Yeah.
feat, and he was able to do it. Huge props to him. And then Brian Tyson with JST Performance, who tunes my car, him with his yellow Honda Civic. I don't know Civic generations. I apologize. I don't.
Eight,
But
eight gen.
anyways, 8 gen,
Eight gen.
8 gen,
Yeah.
perfect. Okay, so we spoke about 2 different 8 gens on this podcast. Uh, he was able to do a top 10 finish in multiple races. He finished 6th in one of them, and then I think his lowest finish over the whole weekend was 13th. Is what he said. Yeah, his lowest
Yeah.
finish in,
He did very well.
yeah, and even in race number, I think it was race number 4, where they were doing the live stream, and Kyle was even like, "Oh, look at Brian Tyson coming up here into 6th place. When did he get up here?"
Mhm.
But yeah, he did incredibly well. So huge
Mhm.
shout to Brian Tyson, and he was over the moon. He was him and then Corin, his wife, were having so many beers, just having a good time, and it didn't
Mhm.
matter who was playing. Saturday night, they were gonna have a good time and enjoy the beers and enjoy the social because they were on cloud 9 after those results that he got.
Mhm. Yeah. No, huge shout out to them.
Yep. So
Before we end the podcast, I
yes.
wanted to share some data that I gathered from the weekend
Ooh, I have
when
one.
people are
I only have one data point for me personally. All I want to say is
you share your data point and I'll share mine after.
okay. So some people were asking me like how fast. Everyone's always asking me like how fast have I gotten the Focus up to? So now
Mhm.
Road America is the fastest that I've ever actually personally taken the car to. So that was 146 miles per hour. I could,
Woo.
yeah. So this is with all
Same
the,
as Conakry.
huh? Really?
Same as Conakry and as E92
Oh,
in
the
the
United.
GLTC.
Okay, I thought you were talking about the McLaren. Was like, there's no fucking way. The McLaren's way faster.
That's like close to 200 miles an hour, apparently.
I believe it. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
You gotta trust those brakes. Oh yeah. So there was a Camaro in Unlimited. It's a wild aero package, old school Camaro. And it was, to my understanding from what Adam Jabay said, the first time a production car has hit 200 miles per hour. I can't
Mhm.
remember exactly what record it was for that it was broken, but nonetheless, this old school
Mike
Camaro did
Dussault.
200 miles per hour down the front straight.
Yep, that was Mike Dussault from Dallas, Texas, actually.
Yeah, Texas represent.
He he broke Ferris's record as well that weekend.
Hell yeah. Yeah. Shout out to him.
I
That's
like thing a 10th.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for me to hit so now that I know now I've actually know where the top of fifth is, 146 miles per hour. Because
Hmm.
was basically the Focus has like quote unquote two red lines. It has like 6,500 red line, and then
Hmm.
you can like push it past and go up to 7,000, I think, in track mode for a limited number of time. I don't know.
Hmm.
Any case, it was the first time I was like in fifth gear past 6,500 RPM. I was like, okay, uh, if the straight was like another half mile, then I definitely would need six, but did not need
Hmm.
six in this event. But now I know where the top of fifth is, 146 miles per hour.
Nice.
So
All right.
your data
So my
points.
data points. I basically gathered some data points from the top 4 people in Club TR, and to see where I stacked. I also dynoed my car. Dyno my car and weighed my car at Road America. So top speeds. I'm going to start from the top. Hot one with the fastest lap time. He had a top speed of 138 miles an
Wait, who's
hour.
he again?
Houghton, James
Houghton.
Houghton.
Houghton. Okay, so James Houghton.
Yeah. So yeah, he had a 229 in Club TR car. Insane. Um,
Yep.
so his top speed was 138 miles an hour in that car. Peter did a 135 miles an hour. Stan did 133 miles an hour. Fez 127 to 129.
That's all you did. You didn't hit 130 at
Yep.
all,
I think I got very close to 130, but I didn't actually hit 130.
dude. We need to get back there, and I need to give you a tow up the hill. That's what. If I
Yeah.
if we would have had the dream Q1 Road America layout where you and I are at the bottom of a class, I could have given you the tow, and you would have hit
Yeah.
130.00001.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think my me going to sixth was really, really, really fucking with me. At Road America and other tracks too. So I think I need to change my final drive for sure this
Yep.
offseason. My final drive works very well for ECR, our local track here, but it does not work anywhere else. Um, so and then horsepower and weight. So I gathered some information on that too. Same dyno, same Gridlife dyno, maybe different days. Houghton made 232 wheel horsepower. I think his cars are either 2650 or 2700. Like, I don't remember. But
We go back
yeah.
and listen and find out.
And then Peter made, I don't know what his horsepower specs are on that dyno, but he weighs 2580. Um, and Stan is at 217 wheel horsepower and weighs 620 pounds. I am at 215 horsepower, so 2 horsepower down from Stan, but 140 pounds up. I am at 2760. Is that 140?
Yeah.
Yeah, 140 pounds.
Are all these weights with the drivers inside the cars?
Yep, all these weights are with the drivers inside the car. So my power to weight is actually same as GLTC specs. I put my power and my weight in the GLTC calculator with the modifiers,
Yep.
and I'm right at the power to weight for GLTC. So I am, if I were to use my fastest time of the weekend in GLTC qualifying, I would be, I think, fourth or fifth in GLTC qualifying, which is pretty.
That's pretty cool.
I was really impressed by that for myself. I think that gave me a better understanding of, okay, I'm actually not slow. Um, because if I can be like top 5, top 10 in GLTC in terms of qualifying times, probably not the race time because I have no racecraft. Uh, that just like it was a reassurance for me. I
That's
think
something that
I'm
Matt
glad
was
I
talking about, that he was still in like time attack mindset where he was like giving people point buys in a GLTC
yeah,
race. He
yeah,
was like, no, wait, I got to stop doing that. I have to like defend my position.
yeah, yeah.
So,
I think so. I was really proud of that, to find out that I'm not a shit driver in a way. And then time delta, James did a 229.98, Peter did a 231.26, Stan did a 238.208, and I did a 232.02. So I think with my better gearing, and maybe some weight out of the car, I should be able to get down to 231s or even 230s probably, fairly easily at that track.
yeah,
Basically, I need more power, I need less weight, and I need better gearing. Um, and another random fact I found out from these people: Peter's min speed through the kink was 108 miles an hour, according to him. Just talking to him. James's min speed was 112, 113. I think that's what he said. He said that because of front wheel drive, he just couldn't go any faster. Mine was 118.
Sheesh.
So yeah, uh, I don't know
Okay.
if GR86 is the answer for this class.
Mm.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh, I didn't realize you were
Uh,
going there.
I don't. I think like it needs. I need a lot of development still in this car to be quick, but we're getting very, very, very close. So
Yeah. I mean, it's awesome to see what the car is able to do right now.
mhm,
And still stock motors, stock transmission. Oops,
just bolt on,
bolt on, and
just bolt
bolt
on.
on and bolt offs for weight reduction.
Yeah. All right. On that note, I have to get going. But great podcast. Good. We won fourth.
We
Is the
won
message
fourth.
of this podcast. We will discuss our trips or my trip and your autocross next podcast. So join in.
Give me 5 more seconds.
Next.
Hold on. 105, 16, 105. All right. Jesus Christ, you're hauling ass. I slowed down to 105 at the kink.
Ah, you bitch.
I want to get the car
I'm
home.
kidding. I'm kidding.
Great
I'm
ending.
definitely kidding. Yeah, that like in podium sprint, I was really, really pushing the kink. Like I barely lifted off the throttle to go through the kink.
Gosh.
And my mentality was like, if I go into the wall, I go into the wall. Let's just figure this out.
Well, on that note, fuck yeah, we won
Okay, we
fourth.
die. Yeah.
All right. Well, Fez, it's
Uh,
awesome. Great catching up with you again.
Mm.
Man, can't wait to hear about the trip. No, it'll be safe stuff. Yeah, and I returned to autocrossing with some local people over here.
Mhm.
I'm starting to warm up to it, not because of the temperature, but because of like the competition aspect. So,
Mhm.
and just another way to fine tune the details. So, all right, we gotta kill this so you can get onto your date.
Cool.
All right, later,
Peace out.
people. Follow us on all the socials. Bye.